So, back in the middle of December last year, I not only unboxed this thing, but I also shortly reviewed it, all in one video. If you want to see that video, click right here, or click on the first link in the description below. Well, that is after you're done watching this video. Anyways, in that video, I told you guys a few specs about the phone which were listed on the box it came with, but I didn't really go too deep into the specs, mainly because that video was about unboxing this phone and getting a general idea of how good a phone can get for $30 in 2017. So, as a follow-up video, I'll be fully reviewing the ZTE Majesty Pro, as well as sharing my thoughts about it after using it as a secondary device for over a month. So, without further ado, let's get started. For starters, the whole unboxing experience was nothing to brag about because, well, it came in one of TracFone's cheap boxes that almost all of their other phones ship with. But the phone itself made up for it. So, let's talk about specs. This device sports a 4.5-inch TFT LCD display with a whopping 480 by 854 pixels. Now, to put that into perspective for you guys, that's a very crappy resolution for a smartphone, but it actually doesn't even look that bad. Now, since this does have a TFT LCD display, the viewing angles just suck. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So, if you tilt it upwards, you can barely see anything. Tilting it downwards is the same story. Tilting it to the right, you can barely see anything, and that's the same for the left. But the touchscreen, on the other hand, is actually very good. Now, while it might not seem like it on the home screen, when you go into the app switcher, you can see that there's barely any latencies in the touchscreen itself. So that is very good. This phone has a 2100 mAh lithium-ion battery, which is sadly non-removable, as you can see. Now, on the bright side, the battery should easily last you a day or more without extended use and playing graphic-hungry games. It has 1 GB of RAM and sports a Qualcomm Snapdragon 210 processor. It also has 8 GB of internal storage, which is expandable up to 32 GB via a micro SD card, which you can see the slot right here. On the back, we can see our 5-megapixel rear-facing camera as well as our flash. Now, this camera shoots in 720p, which is not that bad for a $30 smartphone. And as you can see, on the front we have our 2-megapixel front-facing camera. The phone comes on Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, which runs surprisingly well. And it actually also has very little bloatware both from ZTE and TracFone. And what I mean by bloatware is changed icons, changed widgets, and just changed interface overall. So that is also a very nice touch. So, what do I have to say about this phone? Well, I really like the build. Even though the phone's entire housing is plastic, it is still very sturdy and the phone barely flexes. I can tell you right now that I have dropped the phone a few times, but as you can see, the phone's housing has held up very, very well. I also like the fact that not only is the screen made of glass, but so is the camera lens. So it's nice to know that ZTE didn't try to cut down on prices by sticking a plastic camera lens or screen on there. Overall, the phone is definitely worth the $30. It would make a great replacement phone, secondary phone, or even a child's phone. If you ever come across any of these, I really recommend that you pick one up. I imagine that they won't be in stores for much longer, and when they go, they will cost a lot more online. Anyways, I hope you guys found this review helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, and also make sure to subscribe if you're new. And I will hopefully see you in the next one. Peace out. Let it go.